Welcome, welcome, welcome in the room. Hello, everybody. I'm Annie Moyer. We're here to meditate, to chat. If you're in YouTube with me, feel free to chat in at any point and say hello. Let me know where you're coming from. And we're here together in this space and just chatting about how grateful we are to be able to cultivate community in all the various ways that it's possible now, and how much really we just need each other. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm grateful that you're here. Let's begin with some quiet sitting. We'll go for about 10 minutes. If at any time you need to shift around and adjust your seat and reorganize yourself, feel free. We're not frozen here. And quite the opposite. We're living, breathing, thriving, expanding and contracting just like the universe. And so we can honor that. We can use that to our advantage to make intelligent choices about how we're sitting and how we're being. So as you arrange yourself comfortably, root down and rise up. And then follow the course of your breath in and out, gently welcoming the next inhale and the next exhale. The feeling of reception with an acknowledged inhale can be clothed with gratitude. Even if it feels tenuous, even if it feels uncertain or crowded with thoughts, we can hold the thread of gratitude, of receiving. And with every release of exhale, we can clothe that in a little bit of faith, trust that the next arrival of inhale will come, even if it feels uncertain and clouded with thoughts. And perhaps even if the mind feels willing to receive, there could be resistance in the body. And so gently tend to that resistance. Notice it, first of all, see it, acknowledge its presence, and softly feed a little more breath, a little more space, a little more gratitude, even for the rough parts. Acknowledge ambient sound and potential distraction around you. Can you suggest to your nervous system that that too is part of what is worth welcoming in? Because it means we're not alone. It means we're part of something bigger. It means the self is not just unto itself. It means the self is porous and connected, part of a larger story unfolding. Every so often, you may choose to deepen the inhale, to perhaps reignite a little bit of life force, reassert your presence as a self that is simultaneously unto itself and also part of the whole. And with just a little bit of effort to deepen the breath, we can understand that at the same time as we are breathing, we are being breathed by something much bigger. Little tiny, tiny fraction of a microcosm of the entire universe expanding and contracting as mirrored by our own small diaphragm, expanding and contracting, rising and falling. We are being breathed by the universe. few more breaths here. And then on your next exhale, let your chin draw down and your heart rise up to meet it. If your eyes have been closed, give them a little flutter to open. And then return your awareness to your immediate surroundings. So I had this crazy dream last night that somebody was trying to murder me. And in turn, I was prepared to murder them before they got to me. And you would think that this would have been a gory, terrifying, stressful dream, but it wasn't. It was strangely peaceful and methodical and organized, and I was just doing what I needed to do to evade this person who was making me their prey, and preparing myself to pray back if necessary. And I have no idea what it was about. I'm not a dream analyst by any means, and I don't have any particular fears or like heightened anxieties right now about anything other than, the usual, like that the earth is dying and that we're at war all over the world and that there's a pandemic that's still not over. But I'm living with that in a fairly reasoned, balanced way right now. So I'm not feeling a heightened anxiety about that stuff. So I spent a lot of today considering that dream. And so I came up with the theme for tonight, that we are oceans, meaning that we have innate opposition. We have high and low tides. We can be in one moment calm and inviting and warm and soothing and peaceful and beautiful. And then even at the same moment as being all those things, another part of us can be treacherous and threatening, cold, dark killers, metaphorically or otherwise. That we are in that way like the ocean, so vast and in so many ways undiscovered and maybe misunderstood, deep, complex, full of life that we haven't yet known. The greatest psychologists, among them Freud and Jung, they all believe that we are only free once we have made some attempt to penetrate those depths. Once we have started to recognize that what is on the surface is not nearly all there is, really, about our own psyches, about our own psychology, about our own nervous system, about our existence with each other. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So in some sense, it's good and beneficial to ride the tides in and out. That's what we have to do. We are at the mercy of the moon in that regard, like the ocean is. But at the same time, it is possible to say, well, this is why this beach feels a little washed out right now, and I can add some sand. I can reinforce. I can put down some anchor so I don't get carried away by the next low tide, drawing back. And this is in response to Jung saying that if we don't make some of that unconscious stuff conscious and deliberate, that we will just chalk it all up to the cycles of the moons and say there's nothing I can do. while that's true for so much, it's not true for all of it. Life events. Similarly, in the Gospel of St. Thomas, this is where Jung got some of these ideas. He wrote, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. And if you do not bring forth what is within you, it will destroy you." And so this bringing forth is the recognition of the shadow side in Jungian terms. It's the dark side. It's the depth of the ocean that is treacherous, that can be capable of murder, that can be capable of harm. And that does not mean that we are destined to be treacherous or to be harmful. It just means that there's something worth chewing on. There's something worth paying attention to. This capability that we all have to be the thing that we're scared of most, to be the thing that we don't want to be or that we criticize most in others. That's the thing to chew on. That's the thing to wade into the deep with. And wear the life jacket. Build the raft. Build the ship. Set the sail. And reinforce with care, with intention. If we can chew on that stuff a little bit, that shadow side, that darkness, the depth that's not evident when we just look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I look all right, I'm good to go." Then, in the words of Alan Watts, we can discover our motivations with fantastic honesty. Like, what's really driving us? Where is this current originating? And is there something I can shift about it or not? Or is this something I choose to keep? So get a little more informed about our direction. Let's sit with that for another chunk of time. So reestablish a comfortable seat, support and cushion up as you like. And find your breath once again. Invite the inhale into a deep unknown. And let it linger there for as long as it's comfortable. Know that as deep as we go, we've still got that oxygen tank on our back. We can still breathe. Allow the exhale to dissipate, to make room for the next inhale. Notice as the mind inevitably trails away and tries to solve some problems and remember some things and make some predictions, just gently bring it back. It does what it does for good reason. No need to castigate ourselves. You notice the wanderings, return to the breath. Again, allow the ambient sounds, sensations around you just filter through your aware consciousness, simply as a matter of fact, a function of being in the world. We're not meditating so that we can live in a cave, unless that's where we choose to live. We're meditating so that we can live in the world together. Just another minute here, quiet space. And with a nice, inviting, soft and big inhale, and an equally enthusiastic exhale, bring your awareness back to the moment. There's a fun definition of humor, which is that humor equals tragedy plus time. And I love this because it really speaks to like the best of the comics, who take the darkest truths about us as dirty, miserable, deceitful human beings, and then let us laugh about it, which gives space and rise to the rest of us, to all of the rest of us that's just the opposite of dirty and miserable and deceitful, but that's humble and kind and generous and compassionate and scared, right? And honest. And it's a really good reflection of this dichotomy or this innate opposition that makes us so ocean-like. It means that we can be at once anchored and buoyant, solid in the truth of wisdom and impermanence, at the same time as it's bobbing up and down on the waves of events. We can be worried and peaceful at the same time. We can be scared and wise all at once, bouncing back and forth between the fear and the wisdom, the terror and the strength, the anxiety and the simple one step in front of the other functionality. Just like the earth, we are rotating and we are revolving, spinning on our own axis of life and experience, and then in an orbit of something so big and profound that we will never really understand the fullness of it. But we're in that orbit, and we can let ourselves revolve. And with that revolution of trust and faith, then I think also we can evolve and wake up to truths, to some humility, and to a whole lot of strength that is required of us these days especially, but also in all days. And we don't need to be so myopic to believe that these are the only hardest times that ever were. They're just the hardest times that we've known, but we're young little things relative to the whole history of humankind. So let's use that image of anchored buoyancy in our next and final session together right now. So the seat is the anchor, rooting down, making firm and decided contact with whatever is supporting you right now. And then rise up. A little sense of an inner bounce, a buoyant feel of floating on the waves of breath. In full recognition, sometimes we get pulled under and it feels heavy. Like that anchor is not letting us breathe. Add a little heft to the inhale. Lift the buoy a little higher. We can bob a little lighter. Use the next few breaths to reinforce this notion of being simultaneously grounded and aloft, buoyant and stable. Feel it in your body, inhaling into your root and exhaling up through the lift that continues beyond the crown of your head, energetically speaking. And then again, release the chin, lift the heart. Flutter the eyes. And invite your palms together in front of your heart. May we all find ways to reconcile the innate opposites inside of us and between each other. May all beings be happy and find the source of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the sources of suffering. May all beings find peace. Thank you. Thank you. See you soon. Bye, Marla. Take care.